Our two young sons, Scott was 21 and Chris 24, they had gone out with some friends in San Francisco, and they were on their way home from San Francisco to the East Bay, and a 22-year-old drunk driver crashed into the back of our car. I believe he was going over 100 miles an hour, some say 110 or 120. So it was quite an impact, but it was right at where Scott was sitting.
We found out by receiving that dreaded phone call that all parents absolutely abhor getting of, "Come quick, your son's been in a car crash." We got into the waiting room and had to wait a few minutes, and we were trying to find out where our son Scott was because we knew that Chris had been injured.
I kept asking people, "Hey, do you know where my other son Scott is? Is there a vending machine area or a bathroom he might have gone to? You know, I'd like to ask him what's going on." And no one gave me any answers.
Finally, we got into the room with Chris, and Chris was screaming and just bawling his eyes out.
Horrible, horrible screams. And we just had no idea what was wrong.
At that point, we found out that the reason we hadn't been able to talk to Scott was because he had been killed.
Yeah, that was how we first knew. And then a little while later, we were called back out into the waiting room. The officer who arrested the drunk driver was there. And the way that officer explained what happened and told us about our son's death from his experience being there on the scene, it was just, he did it with such compassion. And I want officers to know that the way they tell a family member is just so important. I replay that scene almost every night as I go to bed. You know, I think about Scott and I think about the crash, and I think about how I was told. Let me tell you a little story. When Scott was growing up, he used to ask for an autograph of every law enforcement officer he saw. If he saw someone at a coffee shop or walking down the street, he always wanted to stop and get an autograph because he knew those were the heroes, and he knew they were out there protecting our communities and saving lives.
Who knows how many lives those officers saved by pulling somebody off. I understand that it's one of the more tedious chores to go through for an officer as far as a drunk driving kind of situation, but they save lives, and they need to know that.
I think about the crash that could have been avoided if someone had happened to be there to see the speeding drunk driver. And of course, they can't be everywhere, and it's not their fault. It's just when they do take an impaired driver off the road, it's saving lives. So I want to thank them for saving lives, for the lives they have saved, and for the lives they will save by taking impaired drivers off the road. And truly, I thank them from the bottom of my heart. It just means the world to me.
This film is part of a series of productions produced by MAD, specifically for law enforcement. For more information about MAD's partnership and support of law enforcement, please visit www.mad.org.